We've been sleeping in a queen-size bed for way too long. I built this king-size bed, and I'm going to show you how I did it, and I'm going to do it now. So my wife's been asking about this bed for quite some time now, and we've been sleeping in a queen-size bed for way too long. It's time to upgrade to a king size. I told her, don't buy a bed. I can make this. We can do this. We're gonna get started. Stick around. We're first gonna focus on the frame of the footboard and the headboard, and we're gonna go from there. Here we go. Down now the posts of the footboard and the headboard. These are 35 inches and these ones are 65 inches high. I trimmed off a 1/16 of an inch off of each of the sides, which brings it to a 3 1/4 inch post all the way around. That's how I like my wood, nice and smooth and clean and pretty before we get to sanding. But now I got to work on the internal frame of the footboard and the headboard. The 2x4s aren't going to cut it as far as the thickness that I'm looking for. I want them a little bit bigger than that, but not as big as a 4x4. So I'm going to take a 4x4 and cut those down and mill it to just how I like it. With these pieces, we got to get cutting some dados, because we're going to create sort of a square frame with some dados and some mortise tenon type of thing. Not really mortise, but more tenon-like. With these shorter pieces, these are the side pieces of the frame of the foot and headboard. We're gonna create tenons. Now this is just a test piece I've been playing with. I'm gonna cut on both sides to create a tenon that's gonna lock into those larger pieces right here to create a frame. Finished cutting all of our tenons and our dados, and I just want to do a dry fitting, and I must say I am quite impressed with this. As you can see here, there is a dry mock-up of the footboard without the centerpiece, which we'll be working on in the near future. And for the next part, I'm going to be filling the cracks and doing lots of sanding. Never-ending sand. Look, I get it. Everyone hates sanding, and I got a lot of wood to sand. But I'll tell you what everyone loves, and that's a sanding montage. I have my lovely assistant here. We're going to be putting chamfers on the post. Here we go. Now that the chamfers are all done, we gotta glue this sucker up. I think this came out pretty nice. Now we gotta make this come out even nicer. Got to use the countersink drill bit, although I don't have the right thickness, but I'm just using it for the countersink portion because we want these screws to be sunk flush so that the centerpiece sits nicely. 3.5 inch screws. Number 10. And what you glue to the footboard, you got to do the same to the headboard. It's just the same old process. A support piece for the headboard. We're going to cut the end off of this. Also, if you notice here, I secured these knots with Starbond medium thickness black glue. You can use any color you want, doesn't really matter, but we're going to sand this down. If you don't do that, then over time these knots can pop out, and that's never nice looking, so we took care of that. Well, careful whenever you put your camera. Trying to come up with a design for the shiplap that we're going to put on this piece here for the footboard. What I kind of want to do is I think it's a chevron. I think it's called a chevron. So it's the shiplap's going to go here, and angle here, here, angle here, here, angle here. Probably in the most center portion, and then with the leftover spaces, I want to do just straight shiplap and create a nice little design. So if I put this right here, right now I'm looking at about a 43-degree angle cut, so I just got to recreate that on my miter saw and kind of puzzle piece it all together. Got my test piece, worked out pretty good, 15 inches and a quarter. Now it's rinse and repeat. This is just a rough layout of the footboard face. There are some high points, and that's because the rabbet joints of the shiplap needs to be cut because I've already cut some of them off. And when you start going at angles like this, it becomes difficult. This is fine here, but once we get into the tricky stuff, I have to recut so those fit nice. Hopefully I'll be able to get them good enough so that they sit just right, like this one right here. We'll have to adjust that. I draw a line on both sides of the shiplap. This is a 1/2 inch parallel line and a 1/2 inch on this side. Now I'm cutting this side, and I use this just as a reference point so that I can see where I'm cutting. And I try to get as close to that line as possible without going past it, otherwise that'll mess up the gaps on the shiplap. This is an example of a piece that I've already done. And if you turn at this angle, you can see it is pretty much right on. And that's what we're trying to do with some of these corner pieces and side pieces and edge pieces so that they all fit together and look nice. If you do it right, this is how it's going to turn out. You don't need a sled to do it, but you can. That'd be a lot more nicer. It'd be more nicer. It'd be nice. I like how it turned out. This is going to look good. I have labored. I have toiled. And this is the moment I've been waiting for. So hopefully it goes well. Tell me when you got yours in. It's too wide? Yeah. It's a little tight. Okay, it's fine. There we go. Let's sit back. Reason why I had a hard time fitting it in was because the channel was just tight. I needed a little millimeter or two, a little wider, so I widened the channel, slid it in off camera as a test fit. Now I can't get it out. So, looks great. All I gotta do now is put the cap on, and we're gonna move towards the headboard before we start doing the finishing process of this headboard. I'm going to take a step back for a moment from the footboard because I think that's wrapped up to a certain point, and I'm going to get started on this headboard. I'm going to start cutting the shiplap design. I have a little design in mind. It's not going to match the footboard because I don't think that design is going to go well with the headboard. We'll do something a little bit different as far as the angles, but I think they're going to complement each other, and this bed's going to look pretty sharp when it's all said and done. That headboard in this frame. Hopefully this one goes better than the footboard did. I can't do it by myself, so I'll have to get my lovely assistant to see how that goes. Okay, get your side in. Oh good, mine's in too. Well, hold on. Oh, there we go. This went way smoother than the last one. I guess experience has its value. Time to get it top piece glued on now. Is there anything better than a sweet jig to solve all your problems? I made this because my table saw won't cut the angles that I want. It only goes up to 45. So I'm going to try this out on cutting some cool angles on these end caps for the headboard and footboard. So I'm kind of proud of myself on this one. It might be a total failure. I don't know. I'm here with my nephew, Drew. And Drew tells me he's quite an impressive builder and maker himself. Drew, what do you like to build and build with?
Legos.
Legos? Well, can you tell me a little bit about your portfolio? What are some of the things that you have built?
I built a car, a dirt bike, a house, and I built Star Wars Legos with my brother Josh.
Star Wars Legos with your brother Josh. That is quite impressive, Drew. Now, since you're such an expert builder yourself, I'm going to need some help with this part. I have these bedpost end caps that I need to put on the headboard and the footboard. Problem is, I'm not quite sure what to do it. I was thinking of just putting glue and gluing it on. What do you think of that idea, Drew?
I think it's not very strong.
Not very strong? Well, do you have any better ideas?
Yes, we can drill a hole.
You can drill a hole, like drill a hole at the bottom of this and drill a hole on top of this?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what are we going to put in the hole to make sure it connects?
A dowel.
A dowel. My nephew Drew couldn't stick around long enough to see these bedposts go up. He's in high demand. So we're going to go along without him. I brought some caulk along with me, and we're going to get some of these seams to look nice and sharp. Because we're just painting this bed white, we can afford to use this and then paint right over it, and it's going to look sharp. The footboard and headboard are all ready to paint, completely done and ready to go. I'm trying to get everything done for the bed that requires to be painted first. These are going to be the side rails of the mattress base. Now originally, I thought I would just go with one. This is 3/4 inch thick. But after further thought, I said, you know what? I want to make them much sturdier. So we're going to make it 2-ply. In order to do that, I need to glue these two pieces together as well as those two back there. In order to do that, we apply glue and you put spring clamps all the way around the edges to make them nice and secure. Now all complete. The headboard and the footboard are completely painted, and the side rails, and that's everything that needs to be painted. Everything else does not need to be painted because it won't be seen. I'm going to use these brackets to help attach these sideboards to the headboard and the footboard. To prevent sagging in the middle of the bed, I'm going to put a 2x4 upright in the center using these brackets as support pieces. The bracket will be screwed into this piece. The 2x4 will simply set inside. Brackets are in. I added a small support piece for this side bracket. With this plywood, I wanted to have a little extra support. This beam right here needs to be the same height as these support pieces. That way you don't get a bump or a dip in the middle of the bed. And now we just slide this right in. And now we just put the support pieces in, and we're almost done. My final cut on this project, king size bed, I'm going to take this center beam that runs long ways in the bed. And I'm going to attach it to 8 inches of this post. So we're going to measure and cut and dowel it into the beam as a middle support. This is going to sit in the very center of the bed, which allows for a little extra support. I don't know if I need it, but we're going to do it. Well, there you have it. Bed's all done. I think it came out pretty nice. The design, couldn't ask for anything better. I'm really excited about this opportunity to build this bed, and I want to take this moment to thank my very good friend Jason at Bourbon Moth. And when I say very good friend, I mean he has no idea who I am. But hopefully he will after I built this bed. I watched his video on his bed build, and he showed me how to make the bed with the structured engineering that I followed. The design itself looks completely different than his, but check out his video and I'll leave a link in the description. If you want to build this bed and you like the brackets and hardware that I use, there's a link in my description that you can click on that's going to send you to Amazon and get those brackets for yourself so you can build your bed. I was really happy with the way it turned out. The wife loves it, looks great in the room, comfortable to sleep on, brand new mattress. What more could you ask for? Thanks for watching. This is Dude Sawdust. I'm Carpenter Logan, and I'll see you at the next time.